Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupu. Chinese people cannot catch a break in this country. Apparently we're pendatang, then we're communists. Cina bukit, Ausha kiasu, Cina lagi, apa mau? And after being assaulted by self-hating Chinese after self-hating Chinese, the list of things that Chinese people get scapegoated for becomes more and more interesting. But you know what? Even I had to laugh at this one, because apparently, Chinese people cause inflation. If you think that is a wild, ridiculous, and oversimplified take, just know that there are people who actually think like this. After watching my video about Chinese people who hate Chinese people, a random commenter who will remain anonymous said this: I thought you Chinese people are the one who worships money. Since DAP pro-Chinese ultra governing this country, everything turns expensive. Alright. Sounds like someone got his education on Chinese people from Ronnie Chiang, but okay. Nothing is cheap now. The Chinese capitalists who control this country economy really take advantage on the Anwar's and DAP's administration for price hikes. So selfish that they even don't care about the poor Chinese in this country. Wow, sorry bro. I'll go and ask my sepupu Vincent Tan to go and fix it now. You never realized that, sir? You talk so much, yet the Chinese really ruin many people's lives in this country. I try to be fair all the time, not to be biased, but coincidentally, every time this country given power to the Chinese, the goods price of this country increased like shit. Seriously, hams up. Bro, what? Sorry to be rude, I had enough. If you Chinese want to be greedy and selfish, or money and wealth are your god, at least please I beg you Chinese people, please don't ruin other people's lives. Wow. What did we learn from that unhinged rant? Lesson number 1, Chinese people worship money. Lesson number 2, semua salah DAP. Lesson number 3, this guy doesn't understand hamsap. Harry! And lesson number 4, this guy has no concept of personal accountability, blames the Chinese for his low standard of living, and does not understand inflation or economics. Now, if you think that comment was extraordinarily stupid, trust me, you're not alone. I posted about this the day the comment came out, and now there are comments on it with people scolding him left, right, front, and center from every single race. It's not like Chinese people have a magic ability to somehow hack into the world financial system. And I don't want to justify or defend him, but I do want to say that given the nonsense that politicians tell people in this country, Cina kaya, Melayu malas, pendatang, I wouldn't be surprised if he genuinely believes what he says. And rather than mocking or shaming him, let's turn a bad thing into an opportunity, and let's learn economics together. I mean, I do have this thing here that Malaysian taxpayers paid for and that qualifies me to talk about economics. But you know what? Let's not talk about Papa Milton, and let's go down to the kitchen. Alright, so we are now in the kitchen. And why are we in the kitchen? It's because when you think about rise in the cost of living, there's a technical name for that, and it's called inflation, which boring economists define as an increase in the average level of prices over the course of time. It's supposed to tell you that the prices are increasing by so many percent over time. But before we discuss any of that, let's have some teh tarik. Cheers! Alright, so why teh tarik? If we calculated the inflation rates from independence in Malaysia up until 2023, it was about 3% per year. So if you were to multiply that all out, then you get a total price increase of maybe 512.23%, which sounds bad until you realize that the average price of a teh tarik at independence was 5 cents. Hong Leong Bank estimated that it cost about 2 to 3 ringgit by 2022, which translates into a whopping 3,900% to 5,900% if you're just looking at teh tarik alone. Teh tarik is interesting because it shows you the danger of just looking at inflation numbers. Apart from the very simple fact that not all teh tarik is sold by Chinese people, it should be obvious to most of you that nobody in Malaysia consumes just teh tarik. Like, if you can somehow survive on teh tarik alone, then good luck to you, and also enjoy 3,900% inflation. In order to calculate the inflation rate, Dawson needs to take into account all the different categories of what people actually spend on in this country. There are multiple moving parts here. It is It's enormously complex. But of course, to some of these people, it doesn't matter. Aiya, those rich Chinese people, diorang pergi beli kereta, beli itu char kway teow, patutlah price increase, inflation, everything go up. Semua salah China, semua salah DAP. But you know what? I'm not surprised, because inflation is hard to understand, like really freaking hard until study it for 4 years, get PhD, study for your entire life, every single day also won't completely understand. Hard. I mean, the story for a lot of these people, it tends to always be the same, that these rich Chinese people bought up everything, made things more expensive. And sure, maybe that was true during like the colonial era back in 1957. But what's wild is that now we're in 2025, a full 68 years later, and these people's minds are still stuck back in the colonial era.
But I'm sure some of them will disagree, so let's talk about it.
Somebody might be all like, Allah hi, look at 99 Speedmart, KK Mart, Econ Safe. They are all owned by the Chinese.
你这个 Chinese.
Semua salah China lah. Even as they go on their Isabella Weber seller's inflation fever dream story, imagining that every single company in Malaysia is controlled by the Chinese, if not directly, then indirectly. To those who can still be persuaded by evidence, I ask, can you prove that every single company in Malaysia is owned by Chinese? If you can, let me know in the comments. And in case you cannot prove for some reason, then consider this. Did you realize that even if there's a 99 Speedmart and a KK Mart, there's also an Aeon from Japan, K Plus from Korea, Lotus from Thailand, and every single one of these retailers is buying stuff from overseas in order to import, try to make money while competing with all of the retailers, which by the way includes Maidin, which is a very Bumiputra retailer. And you're telling me that you are complaining because somehow you think to yourself you don't have choice? If you don't like a Chinese-owned shop, you can always go to a Malay shop. You can always buy Muslim first or anything out there. There's nothing that makes it so you have to buy things from Chinese people. And of course, you can debate left, right, front and center about middlemen and imports and everything like that.
But then the actual reality is,
different people have control of different products. It's a whole Malaysia thing with different people of different races taking part in businesses. Oh, but you know what's fun? Maybe you don't have to buy from Chinese people, but you know who has to buy from Bumiputras? How about any shop in Malaysia that wants to sell rice? All of the rice in Malaysia that you buy, no matter what shop, no matter what supermarket, actually comes from a little company called Bernas. Anybody who wants to mill rice, to process it, make it into something else has to go through Bernas. And since Bernas is Bumiputra owned, so it doesn't matter whether you're Chinese, Malay, Indian, Maidin, Aeon or otherwise, if you want any of that, you have to make sure that you buy from a Bumiputra. So if you want to blame anybody for an increase in the price of rice, you can't be blaming the Chinese.
it could have gone differently if this guy was still in action though, but that's a story for another day.
And if you're complaining, harga minyak sudah naik, you don't blame the Chinese for that. Blame Finance Minister and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim.
Menang hari ini, turun minyak itu. Mengapa tak jadi? Mengapa tak jadi kita tak perintah? Saya tidak jadi Perdana Menteri, nak buat macam mana? Kalau sekarang, dengan harga minyak sekarang, tidak ada sebab minyak tidak boleh turun.
Who is, by the way, very Bumiputra and very not Chinese. What, rice and also oil ah?
Oh yeah, bonus, also electricity tariffs.
Allah hai! Instead of semua salah DAP, can we say semua salah bu? Whoa, 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 whoa. By now, some of you are starting to complain. You're saying, we are globalized, we cannot control the price of oil. Oh, very good, very good. So then maybe, just maybe, you'll start realizing that almost nothing here comes from Malaysia. Let's see, what do we have? Grapes from China, gochujang from Korea, butter from Australia. This sink right here, probably made in China or in Thailand. This water boiler thingamabob, Midea, made in China. Onions, they're from India right here. Potatoes, yeah! For all you know, maybe there is a Malaysian potato coalition. Unfortunately, no. Australia wash potatoes, look at that. None of this is actually Malaysian. Malay, Chinese or Indian, irrelevant.
Oh, but
This cabbage is from Malaysia.
She's not wrong. Now, if you think that's bad though, like, just know that this is part of Malaysia's history. Like, we've always been a trading nation. We do grow some things over here, but Bank Negara would call us a small, open economy, which means that basically we trade with everybody around the world. We buy stuff from everywhere, importing things through the twists and turns of the hundreds of different parts of the international supply chain. So to add to this inflation picture, whether it's our oil, our raw materials, our food, A lot of it is produced internationally, which means that you pay international prices. Meaning USD, Yuan, or pretty much any other currency that you need in order to deal with other countries. Exchange rate goes up, you pay more. Natural disaster in India, onions become more expensive. Drought in China, no more tea. But what that means is that it doesn't matter even if you get rid of every single Chinese-owned business in Malaysia, you are still going to need to buy stuff from overseas, which means that you need to get US dollars, yuan.
Stuff will get expensive no matter what you do if the Malaysian ringgit starts floundering. So suppose the price of teh tarik increases one day. Yes, I know we talked about it, but I like my teh tarik, so let's roll with it.
Is it because of an increase in the price of sugar? Cost push inflation for anything that you manufacture in Malaysia? Was it because there was a natural disaster in China? Was it because the Malaysian ringgit depreciated against the pound, the USD, or the yuan, or anything that you bought? Is it because one shop increased price and you couldn't buy from any other shop? Or is it really because of one greedy Chinese businessman, who by the way is not the same as every other Chinese person just because we are all apparently sepupu? But the point is, inflation is a lot more complex than just the price of teh tarik. And saying that Chinese people cause inflation is frankly an insult, not just to the Chinese people, but to the intelligence of any logical human being. I made this video to show that there are many different possible reasons for inflation. It can be one of these things only, or it can be all of them at the same time.
Or none of them for that matter.
What makes you so confident that you can just say Chinese people are the reason? There are people who are literally working full-time jobs analyzing this, thinking about the cost of living across Bank Negara to management consultancy firms. And if they are having a hard time understanding the full picture, even though they have the latest data in front of them, then what makes you think that you understand the whole picture? If all you know is how to complain on YouTube, blame a single race, a single political party, and collapse the entire universe of possibilities for why the cost of living is going up into semua salah Cina, semua salah DAP. Which is why, if you don't know the answer to that question, then you shouldn't be going out there making racist claims. Because that's not fair at all. Dan fitnah itu dosa tau.
If you are still bitter and you're not happy, right?
If you really want to stop the cost of living from going up, then you're welcome to go ahead and start a business, get a grant from the government or something, and then outcompete all of the Chinese businesses that you can see under the sun. Hey, I mean, like, I wish you luck. Like, maybe you'll end up becoming so successful that you can actually lower the cost of living, prove all those silly, greedy DAP Chinese people wrong as you make your fortune. Like, I will be happy, you will be happy because you're successful, the government will be happy because of economic growth, and all of us will be happy because at least you're not going out there and making these racist claims without any proof. Inflation is a tremendously complex phenomenon. There are so many different moving parts, it boggles the mind, and the fact that I did my degree in economics doesn't make it any easier. But what I can say for sure is this. If you keep on making these dumb assumptions, you will suffer because you will keep on blaming people instead of working harder. You'll be all like, alah, hai, Cina bodoh tu lah sebab saya tak boleh bekerja, tak boleh dapat wang, tak boleh bayar untuk susu kasih bayi saya, hantar anak ke IPT. Sepupu, you could be working harder, working smarter, studying, learning skills that you could get in order to become a more successful person, but instead you spend time here complaining like the fox with the sour grapes, claiming that the only reason you cannot be rich is because of those evil Chinese people, when we have nothing to do with your horrible personal situation. And just because a person is Chinese, it doesn't mean that they are smart. Because let me tell you, there are lots of dumb and poor Chinese people out there, in the same way that there are dumb and poor Malay people, okay? It's not a racial thing. As far as I remember, God gave you a brain. I don't know whether you have a Christian God, like the Muslim God, or you worship patungs, the eternal Tao, or the flying spaghetti monster. The fact is, whether it's fardu ain, fardu kifayah, or you feel a sense of destiny or otherwise, you are here to contribute to the world. One does not contribute to the world by making stupid, oversimplified arguments about cost of living to the point that you can accuse an entire race for your own suffering. Please do better, and I hope you succeed from one Malaysian to another. Alright, that's all I have to say about that, and bye.